Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is a story of what if Naruto and Sasuke was like Hashirama and Madara. Naruto and Sasuke will be strong. Naruto will have a wood release and he is a Senju. Sasuke will, as you all know, an Uchiha. Now let's start the story. Chapter 3. In this chapter, the wave mission starts. Hope you all enjoy it. Even if only slightly. Ah, my precious Tora-chan. I missed you so much. The wife of the fire daimyo, Madame Shijimi, yelled out as she hugged her cat tightly in the mission's office, despite the cat looking like it was choking to death. You had me so worried, my little baby. No wonder it ran away. Naruto muttered, 3 scratches across the bridge of his nose, and many more on his hands. Sasuke had 3 on his cheek, 3 on his neck, and about as many on his hands as Naruto. I would, too. Kind of makes you pity it. Hinata mumbled softly, having no scratches on her. Now, Kakashi's Team 7, the Sandaime said as he was looking over the documents in front of him, your next duty is, babysitting an elder's grandson, shopping in the neighboring village, and help with the potato digging. You can also. I'm gonna stop you right there, Gigi, Naruto said suddenly. Everyone save for his team stared at him in utter shock for daring to interrupt the Hokage. You and I both know that this team is stronger than any genin team you have. We shouldn't be doing this crap. I agree, Sasuke said, crossing his arms. I think this is an incredible waste of valuable resources. After all, besides team training, coming up with strategies and combinations, all they had been doing since graduating was D-ranked missions. You idiots. Iruka barked, sitting next to the Sandaime, who just sighed. You are just rookies. Everyone starts off with the simple duties and work their way up. I don't give a crap. Or not everyone. Naruto barked back. We get these crap missions I wouldn't even force academy students to do. This is not ninja work. Suddenly, Kakashi's fist bopped Naruto on the head, accompanied by the Junin saying, quiet, you. Naruto-kun, it seems I have to explain to you what these duties are all about, the Sandaime said, puffing on his pipe. Listen, every day, we get all kinds of requests from people, ranging from babysitting to assassination, we rank the missions, and blah, 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 Naruto said, his arms crossed. But you've told us that genin get both D and C ranked missions. I know we're fresh out of the academy, but you know as well as I do that we can handle a C rank. Right, Sasuke, Hinata. I think so. I apologize. Kakashi mumbled, scratching the back of his head in embarrassment. The Sandaime, however, looked thoughtful and hummed while puffing on his pipe. He interlaced his fingers in front of his face and smirked. Very well. If you want it that much, I'll give you a C rank, and we'll see how you do. It's a protection mission of a certain individual, the Sandaime announced, which visibly surprised Kakashi and Hinata, while Naruto and Sasuke smirked. I'll introduce the client now. Hey. Will you come in here? The door to the mission office slid open, revealing an old man who, judging by the scars on his hands, must have been a carpenter or something like that. In his hand was a sake bottle, and he took a swig from it as he looked them over. What's this? They're all a bunch of super brats, the man said, a drunken blush on his face. Especially the girl. She looks like she couldn't hurt a fly. Are you really a ninja? Hinata flinched and ducked her head. Seeing that she wasn't about to give a retort, Naruto and Sasuke came to her defense, glaring heatedly at him. Could kill you 5 times over before you could even blink, you old fart, Sasuke said coldly, and Naruto looked at Kakashi. Sensei, can I show him? Killing the person we're supposed to protect would cause us to fail the mission, Kakashi said simply, but Naruto didn't need to show him. They'd gotten their point across, judging by how the old man barely suppressed a flinch. He coughed into his fist. Anyway, I am the super bridge builder, Tazuna. I expect you to provide me super protection until I get back to my country and complete the bridge. And so, later found Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata walked toward the East Konoha gate, packed and ready. Naruto and Sasuke had everything in a scroll each, and Naruto had sealed Hinata's pack into another one, so she didn't have to carry anything. This is AC rank, so the worst we might face is bandits, Sasuke said as they walked. However, I want none of you to let down your guard. Keep your senses sharp for anything out of the norm. Hinata. Hinata jumped at being addressed directly, and quickly answered with a, why yes. During our journey to Wave Country, I want you to activate your Byakugan at regular intervals and scout the surrounding area. Alright. Naruto. Naruto uttered, raising an eyebrow. I don't want you to go lazy and stop molding chakra. I want you sensing the entire time. Your sensing ability is the best I've ever seen, and it doesn't eat more chakra than it takes for you to regenerate, so you can't complain about that. Don't slack off, keep sensing. Yeah. TCH, you've taken some kind of captain position, or something. Getting a bit ahead of yourself, or you, Sasuke-kun. The Hokage is the leader of the village. I need training, Sasuke said simply, which made Naruto twitch. Yeah, right. The one who's gonna be Hokage is me. Hey, in your dreams, maybe. Why you? I think you both have good chances of becoming Hokage. Hinata mumbled softly, which caused the two genin to stop glaring at each other, instead turning their heads to look at her. Hinata looked a bit startled to be getting so much attention, but gulped and continued. Why you both have such strength, despite your young age, and you both have your unique sets of leadership skills. Sasuke-kun. I think Naruto-kun has just as good a chance to become Hokage, as you. Hinata, finished now, ducked her head, as though expecting Sasuke to react unfavorably to what she had just said. Therefore, he no doubt surprised her when he just gave a soft laugh of amusement. Of course, he said, crossing his arms. He wouldn't be worthy of being my rival if he couldn't keep up with me, after all. But thanks for those kind words, Hinata, Naruto said with a grin, slinging an arm around her shoulders. Seriously, though, we need to do something about this shyness of yours, don't you think? I'm not shy. Hinata mumbled, beet red at having Naruto touching her. You're gonna try to convince me that fish can fly, too. Naruto said, still grinning widely. He flashed her a thumbs up. Don't worry, though. Stick with us, and in a couple of weeks, you'll either be a happy-go-lucky jokester like me, or a cool, brooding type like Sasuke. Go with the jokester path, though. One Sasuke is enough. Oi, are you saying I'm annoying? Sasuke asked with a slight glare. Oh ho, not at all, Sasuke-kun. Funny how you would jump to that conclusion, though. Why, you. Hinata giggled softly at their antics, which made Naruto grin wider. They rendezvoused with Kakashi and Tazuna at the gate, and then set off toward Wave Country. As Sasuke had suggested, Naruto started molding chakra and spread out his senses the second they left Konoha, and it was a good thing he did, because he immediately picked up on two chakra sources in the trees to their left. He glanced at Sasuke, who caught his eye. They had long since reached the point where they could tell what the other was trying to tell them from simply looking into each other's eyes. Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly, and he gave a small, barely noticeable nod, before moving over to Hinata. Hinata, don't use your Byakugan, he whispered so quietly that no even Kakashi would be able to hear them. We have a tail, and we don't want to spook them. Understood, Hinata whispered back. Sasuke was shocked to have seen her turn so serious, not at all her usual, shy self. No, he did see that she was the same, but she forced those traits back through sheer force of will. She looked at Tazuna. Tazuna-san. What? You are, from Wave Country, right? What about it? Do you have a ninja village? It was Kakashi who answered, no, not in Wave Country. Most other countries have them, but Wave Country is a bit too small for it. Hey, don't worry, though. These won't be any ninja combat in AC rank mission. Sasuke pushed chakra into his eyes as they passed a puddle in the road, then turned to look at Naruto, who nodded back at him as they kept walking, Kakashi bringing up the rear. Suddenly, a ninja with a horned Kiri headband came flying over Kakashi, a bladed chain connected to his clawed gauntlet. He landed between Kakashi and the genin and Tazuna as the chain wrapped around the junin, tightening. Behind Kakashi stood another Kiri ninja with an identical gauntlet on his hand, which the chain was connected to. What? Kakashi uttered as the two ninja both said, one down. And pulled the chain. Kakashi was torn to pieces by the chain, making Tazuna go wide-eyed, along with Hinata. Sasuke, Sharingan burning in his eyes, one Tomo in the left and two in the right, looked at her. Hinata, protect Tazuna, he ordered, while Naruto was already flashing through hand seals. Doten. Doryuden Earth Element. Earth Dragon Projectile. Naruto called out as a dragon head made of earth rose from the ground and turned to one of the Kiri ninja, opening its mouth and spitting high-velocity mud projectiles at him. The ninja jumped, while Sasuke also flashed through seals. Kaiten, Gukaku no Jutsu, he called out, spewing a massive ball of flame at the other ninja, who dodged, yanking the chain connecting the two, and in doing so pulling him out of the way of the mud projectiles. The fireball engulfed the chain, instantly melting it and separating the two ninja, who split off, circling around Naruto and Sasuke in order to head for Tazuna, which caused Hinata to stand protectively in front of him. Doten, Doryu Heki, Earth Element, Earth-style wall. Naruto called out after flashing through another chain of seals, slamming his hands down on the ground. One of the ninja, who was coming at Tazuna from behind, suddenly found himself stopped rather abruptly as he ran straight into the earth wall that shot up in front of him. As soon as his head bounced off the wall, Naruto put his hand in a snake seal. Mokuten, Sashiki no Jutsu, Wood Element, Cutting Technique. Naruto called as a wooden blade sprouted from his hand. He spun and flung the blade at the dazed Kiri ninja, piercing him in the shoulder. Gotcha! Naruto proclaimed triumphantly, putting his hand in a half-ram seal and focusing his chakra. Sodatsu, grow. The Kiri ninja's eyes widened when the wood inside his body suddenly sprouted 5 thick spikes that extended to burst out of his body in a shower of blood, piercing many vital organs in the process. Naruto's eyes widened at seeing an actual person be hit by that jutsu. Up until now, all he had practiced on was straw practice dummies. There was so much blood. Well done, Naruto, came Kakashi's voice, making him look toward Tazuna, to see that Sasuke had moved to stand protectively in front of Hinata, and Kakashi was standing in front of him, holding the other Kiri ninja, who was unconscious, in a headlock. You guys reacted much better than I would have believed. Kakashi made to turn to Tazuna, but he stopped and looked at Naruto, noticing that the blonde's hands were shaking slightly. Well, it's to be expected. It was his first kill, Kakashi thought, his gaze softening. But to do it at that age. I'll have to talk to him about it later. Kakashi turned to Tazuna and gave him a very serious look. Tazuna-san. Tazuna visibly flinched. Why yes. I need to talk to you. Within moments, the Kiri ninja had been tied to a tree, and judging from the fact that he was glaring daggers at Naruto, he was awake. This guy is a Chunin rank ninja, one of the demon brothers of Kurigakure no Sato. They are ninjas known to keep fighting no matter what. How did you read our movements? The demon brother asked Kakashi. Not even your genin were taken by surprise. On a sunny day like this, when it hasn't rained in days, a water puddle shouldn't exist, Kakashi said simply. Besides, Naruto is a very accomplished censor. He no doubt detected you from the moment you started following us, and alerted his teammates. Why did you let the brats fight when you knew that? Tazuna asked. If I had wanted to, I could have killed these two instantly, but, there was something I needed to find out. Who the target was for these two? What do you mean? Tazuna asked. Meaning, were they after you, or one of us? We haven't heard that there are ninjas after you. Our mission was simply to protect you from thieves or gangs, Kakashi said, narrowing his eye at Tazuna. This has now become at least a B-rank mission. This was supposed to be simple protection until you completed the bridge. Tazuna was quiet, and a sweat drop was visibly rolling down his temple. If it was known that ninja were after you, this mission would have been an expensive B rank. I'm sure you have a reason, but it causes problems when you lie about the mission details. We are now operating outside of our duties. Are we ready for this type of mission? Hinata asked, gulping. I suppose that, at this point, it would be customary for us to abandon the mission, Kakashi said slowly, nodding more to himself than to the others. Sensei. Tazuna spoke up suddenly, catching Kakashi's attention. I have to talk to you. It's about this mission. You're right, this job is most likely outside of your duties. It turns out that a super dangerous man is after my life. Super dangerous man, Kakashi repeated, raising his only visible eyebrow. Who? You've probably at least heard his name before, Tazuna said quietly. The wealthy shipping magnate, a man named Geitu. Huh. Geitu, from that Geitu company? Kakashi asked, his eye widening in surprise. He's said to be one of the world's few extremely wealthy people. Yes. Officially, he runs a large shipping company, Tazuna said with a nod. But, secretly, he sells drugs and other illegal items using ninja and gang members to take over businesses and countries. He's a super nasty man. It was about a year ago when he set his eyes on the wave country. Through money and violence, he quickly took control of the country's shipping industry. Gato now has a monopoly on all business traffic in the country. The only thing he has to fear now is the completion of the bridge. And, because you are building the bridge to the mainland, he won't hold a monopoly anymore. Hinata concluded, to which Tazuna nodded. So, those ninja were hired by Gato? Sasuke asked, and Tazuna nodded. But what I don't understand is, if you knew ninja could be after you, why did you hide that fact when you hired us? Kakashi wanted to know. Tazuna sighed. The wave country is super poor. Even the daimyo has no money. Of course, we don't have much money, either. Not enough for the expensive B-rank mission. Well, if you quit the mission now, I will definitely be killed. But, don't worry about it. Tazuna said with a bright smile on his face. If I die, my cute, 10-year-old grandson will just cry for a few days. Oh, yeah, and my daughter will live a sad life, hating Konoha ninja forever. But it won't be your fault. Not at all. Kakashi twitched at that, scratching the plate on his Hitai-8. Then, he sighed and smiled at Tazuna, saying, well, I guess we have no choice. We will protect you, at least until you get back to your country. Tazuna smiled and thanked them profusely, but they could all see the victorious glint in his eyes. They set off, Kakashi in the front, Hinata and Tazuna in the middle, and Naruto and Sasuke bringing up the rear. Hey, Sasuke said softly, looking down at Naruto's hands. You're shaking. Still a bit shocked, I guess. Naruto mumbled, taking deep breaths. It's not like I've actually killed a man before. It was you or him, Sasuke said simply. Don't beat yourself up about it. Well, I know that, but my body doesn't seem to want to listen. It's not good to be shaking, especially now that we know that enemies are going to attack. Give me a minute, and I'll be fine, Naruto said, a small grin on his face. The group managed to make their way into wave country without encountering any more enemies. However, Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata were always on alert, their senses sharp. As Naruto had said, his shaking had stopped, and he was ready for anything. If we're attacked again, it'll probably be a Chunin, since the two Chunin were defeated, Naruto stated as they walked, to which Kakashi nodded. Without a doubt. Naruto perked up, and in a flash he fished out a kunai, hurling it into a bush, making the others jump, save for Kakashi, who must have sensed it as well. Naruto. Sasuke asked, tense. TCH, Kawarimi, huh? Naruto muttered, lowering his hand. His eyes closed, and he stretched out his senses. Everyone, get down. Kakashi ordered suddenly, ducking, just as Naruto detected the presence. Naruto grabbed Hinata and dropped, while Sasuke tackled Tazuna to the ground. A giant sword came flying through the air, passing through the space where the Genin's necks would have been, before embedding itself in a tree, at which point a ninja landed on the hilt of the massive Zanbeitu. The man wore striped pants, camo pattern leg and arm warmers, and bandages wrapped around the lower half of his face. Tied sideways to his head was a Kiri Hitai-8. Well, Kakashi uttered as they all got to their feet. If it isn't the Kurigakure missing nin, Momochi Zabuza-kun. Naruto. Sasuke uttered, as Naruto narrowed his eyes. Be careful, guys. This guy's got as much chakra as I do. And it's dark, very dark, and powerful. Naruto muttered. Hinata formed a few hand seals, then called, Byakugan. Veins were visible around her eyes as her dojutsu activated, and her eyes widened when she looked at Zabuza. He's right. This chakra. Sasuke, curious, activated his Sharingan and looked at Zabuza, his eyes widening as well. No. It's only a little, but his chakra stores are larger than yours, Naruto. Ho, Zabuza spoke, turning around so that he was facing them. He lowered himself into a crouch, resting his elbows on his knees as he watched them. Sharingan, Byakugan, and a skilled sensor. Not to mention Sharingan no Kakashi. No wonder why the demon brothers lost. Sorry, but, the old man is mine. Sharingan. Naruto and Sasuke uttered in unison, amazed, as Kakashi reached for his headband. Surround and protect Tazuna, Kakashi ordered. Do not enter the fight. That's the teamwork here. Zabuza, first. Kakashi slowly lifted his headband to reveal his left eye, which had a scar through it. And in it, was a Sharingan, fight me. Ah, I already get to see the famous Sharingan. I'm honored, Zabuza said, and it was evident that he was smirking behind his bandages. When I was in the Kurigakure Anbu, I kept a handbook. It included information of you. It said, the man who has copied over 1,000 jutsu. Copy Ninja Kakashi. Oi, Sasuke, Naruto muttered. I thought the Sharingan was an Uchiha bloodline. Why the hell does he have it? No idea. Sasuke said, narrowing his own pair of Sharingan eyes. But I intend to find out. Let's end all the talking, Zabuza said as he reached down, grabbing the hilt of the sword he was standing on. I have to kill that old man. Immediately, the three genin moved to stand protectively around Tazuna, ready for anything. But, Kakashi, it seems I have to beat you first. Zabuza kicked off the tree, yanking his sword out as he flew toward the lake in front of them, landing on it. He released a large amount of chakra, causing the water to start swirling around him. Ninpu, Kurigakure no Jutsu, ninja art, hidden mist technique. Zabuza muttered as a thick mist rolled in, causing him to disappear from view. He'll come after me first, Kakashi announced. Momochi Zabuza. As a ninja of Kiri, he was known as an expert in silent killing. You don't even notice until you're already dead. It's not like I can use the Sharingan perfectly. You guys be careful. Suddenly, the mist got even thicker, and Zabuza's voice was heard coming from all around them. 8 choices. Larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian artery, kidneys, heart. Which one should I go after? Both Kakashi and Zabuza started flooding the area with killing intent. It was so much that Naruto felt every single muscle in his body tense, and he couldn't help but shiver slightly. He turned his head to look at Hinata, to see that her Byakugan was fading, and her entire body was shaking. She was also visibly sweating in fright. Hinata, Naruto spoke suddenly, catching her attention. He smiled when she looked at him. Stay strong. This is what he wants, so keep your guard up. Sasuke, Kakashi spoke suddenly, and Naruto turned his head to see that Sasuke had been shaking as well. Don't worry. I'll protect you guys with my life, their sensei said as he turned his head to smile at them. I don't let my comrades die. We'll see about that, came Zabuza's voice from between Tazuna and the genin. It's over. Zabuza wasn't fast enough, however. In a flash, Sasuke's Chikudo had been unsheathed, and he spun faster than Naruto had ever seen him move. The blade flashed, and Zabuza's head was suddenly separated from his body, his eyes wide. The body and the head, however, exploded in a shower of water, and Naruto's eyes widened when he picked up on Zabuza's chakra. Sensei, behind you, he called out, but too late, as Zabuza's massive sword had already cut Kakashi in half, only for Kakashi's body to disperse into water as well, another Kakashi appearing behind Zabuza with a kunai at his neck. Don't move, Kakashi ordered. It's over. TCH, Naruto thought, gritting his teeth. This damn mist is covered in his chakra. I can hardly even sense Kakashi through it, he thought, then looked at Hinata. Oi, Hinata, can you see anything? No, Naruto-kun. There's too much chakra in the air. Same here, Sasuke muttered. Then, his eyes widened when Zabuza spoke to Kakashi. Sensei, behind you. Kakashi's eyes widened when yet another Zabuza appeared behind Kakashi, the Zabuza in front of him dissolving into water. He ducked under a sword swing, but Zabuza didn't even pause when his sword dug into the ground. Instead, he spun, switching his grip, and booted Kakashi in the face, sending him flying through the air. Zabuza immediately pulled his sword out of the ground and ran off, jumping toward the spot where Kakashi splashed into the water. As Kakashi surfaced, Zabuza landed behind him and flashed through handseals. Suiro no Jutsu water prison technique, he announced as the water shot up to envelop Kakashi in a ball, Zabuza holding his hand in it to keep it going. You tried to escape to the water. Big mistake. Now I have you in an inescapable prison. Zabuza said, chuckling. It's tougher if you can't move, you know. Now, Kakashi, we can finish things later. First, I'll take care of them, he said as he put his hand in a half-ram seal. Out of the water rose a Mizu Bunshin, who walked onto the shore, chuckling softly. Wearing those Hitai 8 and acting like ninja, the clone said, smirking behind his bandages. A real ninja is someone who has survived numerous brushes with death. Only when you're good enough to be listed in my handbook can you start calling yourself ninja. You are not ninja, just brats. Take Tazuna-san and run. Kakashi yelled suddenly. You have no chance of beating him. As long as he's keeping me trapped in this prison, he can't move. The Mizu Bunshin can't go very far from his real body. Just run away now. Naruto slowly turned his head to look at Sasuke, who smirked and nodded. Then he looked to Hinata, who gulped, but steeled herself nonetheless, nodding as well. Run away. TCH, Kakashi-sensei, you underestimate us, Naruto said, a grin spreading on his face. A Mizu Bunshin only possesses 1/10 of the original's power. Do you think us that weak? Besides, the success of this fight depends on you, Sasuke said. If we run away now, Zabuza will just kill you, then pick us off one by one at his leisure. Besides, those who abandon their comrades are even worse than trash, right? Tazuna-san, Naruto said, ignoring Kakashi's wide-eyed look, instead looking to the old man, who sighed. Well, I planted this seed myself. I'm not going to say that I desire to live so much that I'd stop you. I'm sorry, guys. Fight as much as you want. Zabuza's clone, however, just started laughing, grinning slightly. You guys will never grow up. Going to keep playing ninja, eh? When I was your age, these hands were already dyed red with blood. So? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow. What, that makes you a ninja? That just makes you a psychopathic killer, you eyebrowless freak, he exclaimed, raising his hand to point at Zabuza. Don't talk as if you know us. Talking trash is for when the battle is over. Sasuke, Combo 27. Hey, right, Sasuke said as they both started flashing through hand seals. Naruto ended in a snake seal, and a wooden pole shot out of the ground in front of Sasuke, heading past the Zabuza clone and then curving around him, intending on wrapping around him. The clone, despite the shock at seeing a Mokuden jutsu used, leapt into the air to avoid it, which was a big mistake, as the wood shot upward and wrapped around him, trapping him, just as Sasuke finished his hand seals. Naruto Sasuke Kanbi Jutsu. Naruto Sasuke combo technique smiley face they both announced, Naruto grinning and Sasuke blowing a stream of flame at the wood, which shot up along it to encase the entire wooden pole and the Zabuza clone in flames, yakiniku, grilled meat. The flames burned so hot that when the clone died, the water didn't drop to the ground, instead turning into steam and rising into the air. Ho, the real Zabuza uttered in amusement. Mokuden ninjutsu, eh? That was unexpected. However, he put his hand in another half-ram seal, and 10 more Mizu Bunshin rose from the water, walking onto the shore. Sasuke, you can do it, right? Naruto asked his friend, who immediately knew what he was referring to and nodded, unsheathing his Chikudo again. Good. I'll clear a path. Go. Sasuke shot off toward the clones, who all raised their swords and made to attack. Wood spikes shooting from the ground forced them to dodge, however, allowing Sasuke to pass through unscathed. He shot toward the real Zabuza, cocking his arm back, then swung. Zabuza, however, ducked under the swing, but Sasuke wasn't done, spinning and throwing a kunai at Zabuza's head, which forced him to dodge out of the way, pulling his hand out of the water prison in the process. The clones, seeing this, made to go after Sasuke, but that provided enough of a distraction for Naruto to focus his chakra into the ground and cause more wooden spikes to shoot out of it, impaling and destroying the clones. You brat! Zabuza yelled at Sasuke, reaching up to grab the sword on his back, only for Kakashi's sandal to plant itself into his face, knocking him back. Your opponent is me, Kakashi said, his Sharingan narrowed dangerously. Zabuza bounced on the water, landing in a crouch and rising to a stand. Hey, I got distracted and released the jutsu. Wrong, Kakashi said. You were forced to release it, he corrected, which made Zabuza twitch. Naruto, Sasuke, good job. Don't worry, though. I'll take it from here. Zabuza looked like he was gritting his teeth as Sasuke nodded and sheathed his Chikudo, running past Kakashi and back to Naruto, Hinata, and Tazuna, whereupon he gave Naruto a high five. I'll tell you now, I don't fall for the same jutsu twice, Kakashi said, staring calmly at Zabuza. What will you do now? TCH. Zabuza uttered and leapt back, before starting a long chain of seals, which were perfectly mimicked by Kakashi. Sweeten. Suiryuden no Jutsu, Water Element. Water Dragon Projectile Technique. The both called out in perfect unison as two dragons formed out of the water between them and charged at each other, crashing into each other and exploding. That many seals, and he copied them flawlessly, Naruto muttered, bracing himself as the water washed up onto the shore and crashed into them. He turned to look at Sasuke. Can you do that? Not at this stage of the Sharingan, no, Sasuke said, shaking his head as he saw the two Junin clash right underneath where the two water dragons had crashed into each other, Kakashi blocking Zabuza's sword with a kunai. Strange. Zabuza thought, narrowing his eyes as he stared into the Sharingan. What's going on? He pushed off and jumped back, Kakashi mimicking his actions perfectly, as he tried circling around him, then stopped and raised his hands to perform the Kurigakur Jutsu. My movements. Zabuza thought as he lowered one of his hands, Kakashi doing the same. He's completely reading them. Kakashi finished his line of thought, making his eyes widen. What? Did he read my mind? Zabuza thought, feeling sweat breaking out on his forehead, placing his hands in a seal. Damn. That freaky eye is pissing me off, right? Zabuza twitched. Hey. All you're doing is copying me. You can't beat me, you monkey bastard. Both Kakashi and Zabuza exclaimed at once, and that really made Zabuza's eyes widen. Damn you. I'll make it so you can never open that mouth again. Zabuza growled out, flashing through hand seals. He stopped, however, amazed, as he saw himself form behind Kakashi. That's me. That's not possible. Is this one of his genjutsu? Kakashi, to his surprise, finished the chain of seals Zabuza had been doing, and called out, Suiden. Daibikufu no Jutsu Water Element. Grand Waterfall Technique, as his Sharingan started spinning, and the water in front of him came to life and rose up, rushing at Zabuza. What? Impossible. Zabuza roared as the water smashed into him, sending him through a large amount of trees with the force of it. I'm the one doing the jutsu, yet I can't keep up, he thought in a panic, right before getting washed into a tree, after which his arms and legs were pierced by kunai. It's over, came Kakashi's voice from above, making him look up to see Kakashi crouching on a tree branch. How? Can you see the future? Zabuza asked, still in shock. Yeah. Your future is death, Kakashi proclaimed, raising a kunai. Before he could use it, however, two Senbon needles came flying out of nowhere and pierced Zabuza's neck. Zabuza's eyes were wide as he collapsed to the ground, and everyone looked up to another tree, to see a kid around the Genin's age, wearing a mask that looked almost like an Anbu mask, which had the Kiri markings on the forehead. Hee. You're right. He's dead, the boy spoke in a very feminine voice, which matched his feminine body. Who's the gender-confused mask boy? Naruto asked loudly, displaying his usual tact as Kakashi jumped down to Zabuza's body, checking his pulse. Thank you very much, the masked ninja said, bowing. I have been searching for the opportunity to kill Zabuza for a long time. That mask, Kakashi said, looking up at him. You're a Kiri Hunter Nin. Hunter Nin. Hinata repeated in confusion, looking to her teammates for explanations. Hunter Nin are a special division of Anbu, Sasuke explained. Their duty is to hunt down and kill missing Nin. TCH, to get a rank like that at that age. There are some great ninja out there, eh? Naruto asked, a grin on his face. It'd be nice to fight him. The Hunter Nin jumped down and slung Zabuza's arm over his shoulder, picking him up. Your battle is now over, and I must dispose of this body since it seems to be a body with many secrets, he said, putting his hand in a half-ram seal. Farewell. The wind started kicking up around him so fast that it was howling, and then, in the blink of an eye, he and Zabuza's corpse were gone. Kakashi breathed a sigh of relief, pulling down his headband to cover his Sharingan, and Sasuke and Hinata deactivated their own eyes. Now we have to get Tazuna-san home, Kakashi announced to his genin. Let's go. Ha ha ha. Super thanks, guys. Tazuna said brightly. Come over to my house and relax for a while. Just as he said that Kakashi suddenly froze, and tipped forward, unable to move. Ah, I was wondering when that would happen, Naruto said, unsurprised as he walked up to Kakashi, crouching down in front of him. Your chakra stores are lower than mine, and you're using a transplanted eye. That should drain you pretty quickly, eh? Sasuke, gimme a hand here. Why? Too weak to carry him yourself. Shut her face hole and give me a hand. Hey. So, what did you think? Love it. Hate it. Remember to leave a review. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like for more what ifs and support the author. See you guys in the next video.